First time I heard about FemLINKPACIFIC was back in 2007 when I attended a consultation with my mom. My mom was the one who invited me to this consultation at the Senior Citizen Center back in, I think it was in December. And so Sharon invited me and then asked if I would like to join as part of Gen X. So I officially started as a member of a Generation X back in 2008. And since then, I'm still here. This is my, I guess, 7 years of working with the organization. Well, I would firstly talk about my personal progress. Firstly, before I actually joined FemLINKPACIFIc, like even issues like whatever we went through was, I thought it was just part of life. Like you can't do anything about it if you have a road problem or if there's no medicine in the hospital and all that. But once I joined FemLINKPACIFIc, I finally realized that these are real issues and challenges that you can do something about it, and also there are policy in place that could help people to work around, you know, trying to improve the issues and implement for these issues and for changes to happen when it comes to issues, I mean areas around, you know, infrastructure problems and medicine and all that. And professional wise, I've learned a lot in terms of looking at technology. I never knew how to actually, you know, utilize computer in that sense, like type in because most of the assignment was for us is just you go into the lab, you write and that's it. And we only use computer for social network and all the stuff. But when I entered FemLINKPACIFIc, I get to learn, you know, simple things like Microsoft Word and Excel. And then my knowledge in terms of technology and utilizing IT actually grew to knowing how to edit programs, how to edit videos, how to compile those things, and also broadcast logs and stuff like that. And yeah, that's most of it. And also, like I've already said, within my personal experience, it's just making linkages with issues that occurs in the community, trying to make linkages with policy. Well, since I joined in as a member of Generation X, just a broadcaster. I've seen a lot of changes in terms of expanded broadcast hours. Before, we usually have only 14 hours of broadcast per weekend. In the weekend, it's like only on Saturday and Sunday. But now we've grown to 54, and we now have two weekly radio stations, one in Suva and one in Lambasa. 20 hours of broadcasting in Lambasa and 50 hours of broadcast in Suva. That's in terms of broadcast, expansion in terms of broadcast. And in technology-wise resources, we've got a lot of computers now. Compared to the past, we have to wait for people to finish their transcribing and we'll utilize. But now we'll have designated computers for everyone. And I remember before it was only, I think Shan and someone normally does the editing bit. It was Cool Pro Edit or whatever they were using. But now everyone has a knowledge in doing their own editing, actually doing their own production, coming up with the program outline, because before we normally do only standard programs like Vox Pop and Market Report. And when there's special event, we're given, you know, tasks to go out and do recordings. But now everyone has a fair idea of production, doing program outlining and research and editing and up to broadcast. So in terms of the pool of volunteers, they could do all of this compared to the past. Another thing is the reach that we have. Like now we have the podcast going up on Mixcloud, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, so a wide range of, in terms of advertising, not really advertising our work, the advocacy work and its reach. So we're reaching the wider scope of the community when it comes to our work. Well, my personal challenges when I started off is standing in front of people and talking. Well, that was something that I cannot, I usually have a problem with, but I'm learning, and at the same time I'm improving in terms of talking to people. Now I'm confident talking to friends, staff members. Before I can't normally do that. And also network, which is a start. For internal issues, like doing my work internally, some of the main challenges I face is in terms of technology. I have to use Audacity, which is an old version of things, which is so hard to, for you to align things, you need to cut and then paste and then work on something else and then paste. When it comes to Adobe, it's just so easy. You can double click, edit at the same time and align, because it has multi-tracks, which is because of that difficulty, actually delays some of my output in terms I have to work extra hard in order to meet the deadlines. That's in terms of editing. And also when it comes to aligning video, I just have to use Window Movie Maker. It might take long, sometimes I have to restart the computer again and again. Those are some of the difficulties that I face internally. When it comes to managing volunteers at the same time, because different people are different. There are certain approach that you use to some people which doesn't work with all of them. So trying to talk to them and learn some of their experiences and understanding them and what are the best approach you could use to actually talk to them and let them realize whatever you're trying to convey in terms of messages and all that. And one of the main things too is what sort of the ways that I could, approach them, or what sort of language that I use for them to understand. Sometimes in my head, I do know that they understand, but sometimes they can't even understand me at all. Maybe that's some of the challenges, internal challenges that I face. But in terms of external, it's just trying to work with other different centers, getting their production on time, and letting them understand, the editing, the importance of meeting the deadline, sending things on time, because we have other different people who actually submit our work to. So that's the only thing I face, some of the challenges that I face. And also when you're talking to them, when I talk to them and I explain things, sometimes they can understand. We have to break it down to simple things for them to understand. Well, sometimes we have in terms of deadlines, I actually talk to them in advance, give them time to actually complete their work and constantly reminding them. But in other, I've already said, in terms of editing and production, I have to work an extra miles and not really extra miles, but put in an extra hours and plan my time properly and do not do everything all at once, but just time management, I guess. What I would envisage for 2015 is more internal capacity building within the staff members, and if we have more skills and learn more of how to do things, we would be able to save on time and at the same time improve productivity. And also if we could invest in softwares to actually make our work easier. And also capacity building within the different centers. We give them skills and knowledge and also training so that they could make, their output could be really, apart from raw data, they could, edit their own stuff and send it across, and then we would just process and upload it.